Hey guys, it's Vicky, and today I'm here to share with you my favorite books of 2017. So far this year, as of today, I have read 55 books, which is a record for me, so yay! And I'm finishing a couple more this month, but I'm pretty confident that the ones I've already chose are going to be my favorites. So I picked 5 books that were 5-star reads for me this year. Throughout the entire year, I only had 8 books that I rated 5 stars. As you guys know, I'm kind of stingy with the 5-star rating, but the ones I chose were 5 stars, and I'm going to share them with you now. I should note that these books didn't necessarily come out in 2017. They were just new to me, ones that I read, and I didn't rank them. They're just I'm just going to kind of say them in no particular order. My first 2017 favorite is actually the first one that I gave 5 stars to this year, and I read it back in January. And this book is going down as one of my favorites because it was such a surprise. When I picked it up to read it, I didn't think I was going to love it as much as I did, but it was a fantastic book, and that book was Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty. This one, like I said, was such a surprise because for it being just about these 3 women, and they're just everyday dramas with their children and their husbands and just all of that kind of stuff, it was such a page turner. I could not put that book down, which is the sign of a great book. And it just so happened when I was reading it back in January, I had jury duty, and so I was literally sitting in the juror's room for 6 hours, and I just ate that book up. It was amazing because I just couldn't put it down, and I just had this 6-hour gap of time where I did nothing but read, and it was fantastic. And even though I read it back in January, it's one of those books that I still think about even now, today. I still think about that book and how much I loved it. So it's probably one that I will reread in the future. My next favorite is one that I just read back in November, but of all of the nonfiction books that I read this year, this one was by far my favorite nonfiction book, and that book is In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. This was a favorite definitely because of the writing. Truman Capote, the man could write a book. This book, the way that the writing was detailed, the amount of detail and work he must have put into this book, the way that the story flowed, the way that it read like fiction, even though it was nonfiction. He just told the story of this terrible murder so well. And it's one that I would definitely recommend to people that maybe are kind of antsy about getting into nonfiction. This is one that I think would be a great introduction to people that want to try nonfiction but have apprehensions. My next 2017 fave is one that I read in October, and it should come as no surprise to those of you that have been following my channel for a while. I've read a lot of horror books this year, but this one, when I did my October wrap-up, I said, this is going to be one of my favorite books of the year, and it is, and that book is The Elementals by Michael McDowell. The reason that this book is one of my favorites this year was the writing. The writing is so good. And I know sometimes when you read horror novels, the writing is okay, and it's plot, the plot kind of projects you forward and stuff, but this one, the writing was just so good. The characters and the way that they interacted, and just the whole Southern Gothic feel of the book was just fantastic. And the way that McDowell could write about something as inanimate and as something as non-threatening as sand, but make you terrified of it, it was just brilliant. So this is one that I definitely cannot wait to read more of his works because this one was just so amazing. The next book I want to talk about is a classic that up until this year I had not read, and I picked it up because I felt like it's a classic and I should read it, and I was just so surprised at how much I loved it because sometimes classics, they just don't connect sometimes, but this one I just fell in love with, and that book is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This book has just everything. It has interesting characters, it has wonderful writing, it has that amazing Gothic setting with this big, empty, creepy house. It's got a bit of a love story, it's got a bit of mystery, it's got all kinds of stuff going on, and that's why I loved it so much. It's one that I will definitely reread in the future because like with a lot of classics, as that first read through, you might miss some themes and stuff like that. So I know that on multiple reads, I will hopefully get more and more out of this book. My last 2017 fave is one that I read back in the summertime, and it was a graphic novel series that just was like no graphic novel series I had ever read before, and it was just such a heartbreaking yet beautiful story, and it was told in such a unique way. And that series was the Mouth Zoology by Art Spiegelman. This is technically nonfiction as well, because it is the story of Art Spiegelman's parents and their experience during World War II. They were Jews that were put into a concentration camp, and their story is it was just so heartbreaking, but so important and amazing. And the way that Art Spiegelman told the story was what made it also so captivating. He wrote it so that the Jews in the story were mice, and the Nazis were cats. So that was an interesting little take on that whole thing, and I just loved this series so much. And it's one that I would even recommend to people that maybe don't really like graphic novels or like kind of weary about trying graphic novels, because I would still say try this one out, because the story is just so good and it will change you. Alright guys, so those were my favorite books of 2017. I think that overall I had a really good reading year, and since I started my BookTube channel back in April, I have just read some really great books because of BookTube, and yeah, I just had a really great year, and I hope that you guys did too. Please let me know down below in the comments what your favorite reads of the year were, because I would love to know. But other than that, I hope that 2017 treated you well, not only in your reading life, but in your real life, and that 2018 is good too. So other than that, have a great week guys. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.